right? That beat's touching 0 dB, but it doesn't sound loud, right? But once we have it on the mix, right?
Cause got fit out in this perk, they still gon' buy them bitches fit.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy Farai. Thank you once again for tuning into another video. Definitely make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Today we're going to be taking a look at this wonderful track by Too Cold called Work My Ass Off. And a really cool track right here. As you can see, I've finished the mix. We got a lot going on. We got the stems printed back in, you know what I mean? Everything is good, locked and loaded. I'll play you the rough mix just so you can see where we started, and then, you know, obviously what our end result is. I am using FL Studio, but hey, I'm running my stuff through an SSL console. What are you gonna do about it, huh? But yeah, man, I'll kind of give you some insight to my workflow, how I like to do things, you know, how I really try and get, you know, people that have been following this channel for a long time, you know that I'm a big fan of Seth Firkin's work. You know what I mean? He's unfortunately passed away, but the stuff he did for Future when he was alive is just so good. It's some of, in my opinion, some of the best sounding trap music to come out, simply because he really takes the time to kind of make everything sound good, but still keep that element of, like, you know what I mean, kind of street vibe. You know what I mean? You really want that. And to me, street and analog just go hand in hand. That's why there's certain things we can do with the console and our mix bus chain that can really help you get that extra few, you know what I mean, sounds out of the mix. So yeah, let's take a listen to the rough mix real quick, and then we will break it down.
Cause got fit out in this perk, they still gon' buy them bitches fit. If I pop out 100 deep, that come with 100 switches. Trapping hard, meaning the links, he don't know, just cuddle with me. Tryna run off with anything, won't hesitate to bust his glizzy. Oh yeah.
Right, so there you go. This is what a general artist recording is going to sound like. You know what I mean? You're in the studio, you just want to make sure your vocal gets in there, you know, have the beat, have everything ready, and from then on out you can send it off for mix, okay? And then this is what we ended up with, okay? I'm going to turn my mastering chain back on.
Cause got fit out in this perk, they still gon' buy them bitches fit. If I pop out 100 deep, that come with 100 switches. Trapping hard, meaning the links, he don't know, just cuddle with me. Tryna run off with anything, won't hesitate to bust his glizzy. Oh yeah. Running so fast, take off like NASCAR. I deserve everything I got, I work my ass off.
Right, not gonna play too much of the track, you know what I mean? I'll definitely link his channel below. But yeah, you know, I'm not gonna run through every single thing that I do with my mixing. But, you know, as you can hear, things are a lot more open, things are EQ'd, things sound like they're in the right pocket, right? And what I like to do is, firstly, I like to have all of these stems of the mix kind of just loaded up, you know what I mean, on the side of the session. That way I can then route everything to where it needs to go, right? From then on out, you know, things go to analog gear, they come back, you know what I mean, a little bit of magic is added, right? You can go and check out, for example, Mix by Ali, who is an engineer who does a very similar thing. You have everything in Pro Tools, you bust things out onto the console. I'm using an SSL X rack with some E-Series EQs. We have the X-Desk console that we use. I also have some vintage E-Series channel strips. You know, everything sounds good. We can utilize a bunch of different stuff, right? I've even got an API 8-channel console as well that we can use line inputs, you know what I mean? So we can make use of a lot and really just color our sound, right? You know, so what I like to do starting off is we'll focus on the kind of like the main vocal, right? That's kind of what this channel is about. What I like to do is, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on. But for me personally, I like to work as if I'm working fully out the box, even in the box. That's the beauty of digital, right? Is I can record tracks back in. I can, for example, as you can see right here, test which filters I want to use, right? Because I don't have filters on the X rack. These are just EQs with line amps. I do a little bit of processing before I hit the console, right? That way I can do a little bit of filtering, then I can see which flavor I like. And I ended up just sticking with, you know, this is the exact EQ I have out the box. I like to use the black knob version of that. The brown doesn't sound so good for hip hop, right? But sometimes you may want to use a little bit of G series. I do tend to use the G post console. So as you can see right here, we have that up, right? And I treat that as if it's a group, right? That's the beautiful thing about digital, is that you have unlimited, you know what I mean, VSTs, right? I have limitations to how much stuff I can run out. And so, you know, being able to group stuff later on and whatnot is a beautiful thing, right? So I kind of start off my chain by just doing a little bit of filtering, right? In this case, I didn't like the dynamics options of the plugin Alliance. So what I did instead was I just used the SSL native compressor. So as you can see, right, I got the filters from the plugin Alliance. I've got the compression from the SSL native. And then I run into my SSL console strip which then, you know, we do different types of processing. I might run the vocal into an 1176. We have the DBX, we got decking compressors, I got an API channel strip, we got a whole bunch of different stuff that we can use. In this instance, I did not actually use any compression on the main vocal, and I'll show you why, because I actually compressed using digital. So as you can see, I got this revision H, the revision A, my bad, I liked how it sounded, and so instead I used the 1176 as a parallel channel, okay? So that means that I could pretty much just blend those two in, and as you can see, that 1176 runs into a parallel channel, and it's just been smashed. It's doing like 20 dB plus of compression, I think, on the 8:1 ratio. Sounds good. You can just blend it in, you know what I mean? So that way I don't have to get too loud with the main vocal itself. I have this kind of parallel channel running in the background to get a little bit more loudness out. That is a traditional technique that is used in a lot of SSL style mixing, Neve consoles, whatever, you name it, right? So that's kind of what I do with the main vocal. Once things run into the box, with the main vocal in particular, you know, I'm doing a little bit of compression because obviously we haven't done any compression. You know, from then on out, since this is digital, I can get away with kind of mix matching and adding touches of different flavors of hardware style equipment, right? So as you can see, my vocal chain consists of a 1176, right, revision 8. It's got a really nice distortion to it, kind of top into it. And then I run that into a Fairchild, which is kind of just acting as almost like the LA2, kind of just smooth effect, you know. So if we just play this.
Cause got fit all in this perk, they still gon' buy them bitches. Fit. If I pop out 100 dick, that come with 100 switches. Trapping hard, meeting the links, he don't know just cuddle with me. Tryna run off with anything, won't hesitate to bust this glizzy. Oh yeah.
Right, and as you can see right there, we're doing quite a lot of compression, but again, because this is digital, it'll react just a little bit differently, and so we don't really want to go overboard. We also don't want to do too little compression, you know. We really want to get that flavor out of there, and you know, UAD is really nice, or UA is really nice, you know, to get that out, or to use that style of mixing, right? So that's pretty much what I do, starting off the chain. From then on out, right, I'm not going to do too much EQ on the vocal, because generally I will EQ the vocal on the console. I did do a little bit of like, I've already kind of printed everything in, so I've reset the console, but I'm doing like a 5K dip on the vocal itself, just so I can get rid of some of that sibilance. I'm doing a little bit of top end boost, removing some of that low end. I think I had it at like 250, you know what I mean? Just doing some basic kind of sculpting EQ, so that once things get back in the box, I can really fine tune it. But you know, we did such a nice job on the EQ this time, no need to go crazy, right? But I do want to make sure that the vocal sounds kind of nice and upfront, right? So that's when you can start utilizing things like the Hornet tape, right? This is a plugin that I just did a review on, so definitely check it out. But this is just going to add a really nice vibe to your vocal, you know what I mean? And when you mix that together with the analog compressors, you mix that together with the SSL, you know what I mean? Kind of my vocal sum, right? Because it's very normal to have your vocal run into a vocal group channel, and that's kind of how I'm treating it in this instance, right? Just having it come back onto a stereo return kind of thing. That way I can do a little bit more tweaking. As you can see, I'm doing slight tweaks here and there, slight dip at 1.2K, you know what I mean? Filtering the vocal again, just to get rid of some of that top end. You know, for me personally, I like to filter a bit more than I do DS, you know what I mean? That's something I've started to enjoy doing, right? So if I can get away with it, I will do it. I'll try and deal with the kind of S sounds in the EQ itself, you know, mix match, see where we go. Obviously you can use a DS, right? Sometimes you have to, right? But there you go. You know, from then on out, a little bit of I'm always going to use the R comp, because the R comp is just so good at gluing things down, you know. I think I can, I'm running this mix off of the print. I'm just going to turn that off and just, because I do still have the settings the same, but it'll sound a little bit differently, because I think I had a bass cut, and I don't know, I can't remember the setting, but
Cause got fit all in this perk, they still gon' buy them bitches. Fit. If I pop out 100 dick, that come with 100 switches. Trapping hard, meeting the links, he don't know just cuddle with me. Tryna run off with anything, won't hesitate to bust this glizzy. Oh yeah. Rockin' so fat, take off like NASCAR. I deserve everything I got, I work my ass off.
Right, that R comp is just gonna be doing that kind of, you know, utilitarian, like, hey, don't make the vocal go any louder than that, right? Because we have other things going on. We want the H3000, for example, to pop out a little bit, right? We want that parallel channel to have its character in the mix, right? So we don't want just the main vocal to take over that spot, right? Even though it is the main vocal, right? We mix matching things in, and overall we get that final sound, right? So, you know, that's pretty much what I'm doing with the main vocal. Obviously, we have different automation clips that pop in at different times. You know what I mean? I don't want to play too much of the track, but you know what I mean? That's how we do it, right? In terms of the beat, tons of parallel stuff going on. You know, if you pay attention to the difference between that rough mix beat, right? Just listen to this difference right here, right?
Cause got fentanyl in this purse, they still gon' buy them bitches. If I pop out 100 dick, that come with 100 switches.
Right, that beat's touching 0 dB, but it doesn't sound loud, right? But once we have it on the mix, right?
Cause got fentanyl in this purse, they still gon' buy them bitches. If I pop out 100 dick, that come with 100 switches. Trapping hard, mean the links, he don't know just cuddle with me. Tryna run off with anything, won't hesitate to bust his glizzy. Oh yeah. Riding so fast, take off like NASCAR.
Right, we get that grunt out of the vocal. We have those effects going on. The beat sounds nice and wide. Everything is good. You know what I mean? This is how, you know, audio should sound and how we should do things. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty much just a quick look at what I'm doing. I've got tons of stuff going on. I don't want to give out all the sauce. You know what I mean? Because I really like my workflow and how I do things. But yeah, man. Hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely make sure to smash like and subscribe, and I'll check out in the next one. Peace out.